guys, welcome back to Coffee Time Adventures. We're going to do something a little different today. What we're going to do is talk about the Idaho 4 victims that was taken from us, and we will discuss some scenarios, in my opinion, what could be the motive or other areas. So on November 12th, all 6 victims in this was out for the night. Dylan and Bethany, Ethan and Zaina was at the same frat house party. Dylan and Bethany, which are the 2 survivors, had left the party and was home by 1 a.m. And they went straight to the room, according to the statements that they had given law enforcement. Now, Dylan was on the 2nd floor. Bethany was on the 1st floor. There's 3 levels to this house. 1st floor, 2 bedrooms. 2nd floor, 2 bedrooms, kitchen, living room. 3rd floor, 2 bedrooms. The bedrooms on the 2nd floor was Dylan and Zaina's. 3rd floor, Kaylee's, which she was moving out to a new job. She graduated and she was moving to a new job in Texas with her dog, Murphy. Madison was in the other room, which Madison and Kaylee are best friends. They're like sisters. They grew up together. They joined at the hip. One of the residents, whether it be Dylan or Bethany, called 911. One of them had passed out outside, and a friend of theirs that was there had picked up the phone and talked to the 911 operator. Now, the 911 operator just assumed that the police was coming over and the ambulance was coming over for a person unconscious. They had no idea what they were walking into. So, from that point on, it went nuts. The police officers entered the house and found Zaina first in her bedroom on the floor, and then they found Ethan on the bed or on the floor. I'm not sure which. It doesn't really state. They found him second. And then they proceeded to go upstairs to the 3rd floor, and they found Murphy in a room, which is Kaylee's dog. And then they went to the other bedroom and found Kaylee and Maddie. So, from that point on, the house was secured and it was now a crime scene. During the crime scene, they collected over 100 pieces of evidence. And with the second time that they went in to reprocess the scene, they found a footprint in front of Dylan's door, which was kind of at an angle from Dylan's door to the kitchen. Now, when you open Dylan's door, you see right into the kitchen, so Dylan could have seen him walk straight out of the back door. Now, some of the news broadcasts says that this is the first murder in over 7 years. And this is by far the worst murder that they have seen. And from that point, they had their eyes on a camera footage that they downloaded, and they had seen a white sedan leaving the area at a high rate of speed at 4:20 in the morning. And before this person, intruder, entered the house, he was being seen on the same surveillance camera making 3 passes in front of the house, starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. But between 4 a.m. and 4:20, before he was seen the last time, he was not seen. So this is an indication to the police that he was the perpetrator that they were looking for. So I will also link the affidavit down below so you guys can all read it, because I'm just kind of like picking parts out of it. And it describes his route to and from. Now, according to sorry, the perpetrator's cell phone stopped dinging in Washington and picked up the internet as well, came back onto service around 5:30. So they also have him on cameras in other locations after 4:20. Like I said, I will leave the link down below for the affidavit so you guys can read through it. So they tracked him leaving 1122 King Road, where the victims were, straight back to his apartment in Pullman, Washington. Now, going back, that is just a roundup of what is going on there in Idaho. Now, they've had their sights on the perpetrator, which his name is Brian Colbert, and he is originally from Pennsylvania. His plate for his vehicle was registered in Pennsylvania, and that's what they had caught on camera. After the murders. And there was a card reader as well that they caught it on. And he and still has the white 2016, 15, sorry, I just read it here. 2015 white Elantra. And on the 18th of November, he had his plates renewed to Washington plates. He had to have it done by the end of the month. Now, Washington requires 2 plates, one on the front, one on the back. Pennsylvania only required 1, which was just to be put on the back, just like Michigan. Now, why he didn't contact his mom and say, hey, Mom, it's been cheaper just to have it. Hey, Mom, can you go get my plate? Can you get it renewed for me and mail it to me? Here's money. Okay? But no, he went ahead and had it transferred to and registered in Washington. Now, after he did that, according to what Brian had said, there was a pre-planned trip for his dad to come out to Washington and drive all the way back to Pennsylvania with Brian in his white Elantra that was seen on video cam. Now, once Brian it took him several days. I had heard that it was like a 43-hour drive. So, yeah, I would have flown. I don't know if I could have done a 43-hour drive. It's just too much for me. All right, now, he left approximately December 13th, and on December 16th, he was on surveillance video arriving in Pennsylvania at his parents' house. All right, and then on December 27th, agents recovered trash from the Pennsylvania house where his parents lived and Brian was staying, which they caught Brian with gloves on, taking trash to a neighbor's house to dump it in their dumpster. So the LE had retrieved that trash, sent it to Idaho, and on the 28th, Idaho obtained the DNA profile from the sheath that this perpetrator left, which is linked to Brian, and the trash that they retrieved with the DNA linked to the same household. Now, the DNA that they got from the trash was his dad's. It was a male figure. Brian and his dad was the only male in that house at that time. So, the sheath had Brian's DNA on it. So, when they tested the garbage, it came back as the same household. But Brian's dad was nowhere near Idaho at that time. Now, that's how they linked Brian to the, I don't want to say the M word, the disgusting thing that he did in Idaho, Moscow. We'll just put it that way. All right, now, from that point on December 30th is when the law enforcement and the FBI, everybody surrounded the house in the middle of the night and got Brian. Okay, so Brian was in custody in the middle of the night on the 30th of December. And then he appeared in court a couple days later to waive extradition back to Idaho. So he got back to Idaho, and in that court hearing, the judge had told him what he is being charged with. And that is in the affidavit. Like I said, that will be linked down below in the description. Now, his next court date is on January 12th. I'm not sure of the time. Wherever I look, I can't find the time. I just see the date. So it's January 12th, which is next week. Or I'm sorry, it's this week sometime. So from that point, let's get into a little discussion on my opinion on what's going on and who he attacked first. Okay, this is strictly my opinion. Everything that I stated before is in the affidavit. Now, on that night, after he parked next door between 1122 King and the apartments next door. He either parked right next door or in the parking lot right behind 112 King. 1122 King. Now, he entered. I have two theories on this. I'll give you my first on the entry. I believe that he came through the back door, the slider, went up to Kaylee's room first, thinking Kaylee was in there. But Kaylee was not, just her dog Murphy. And that's the scuffle that Dylan heard first, because Murphy probably wanted to play and he was trying to get him back into the room. And then he went into the other room where Kaylee and Maddie was sleeping. He attacked them, and for some reason he left the sheaf, sorry, hard for me to say that word for some reason, next to Maddie. Whether he left it on purpose or it fell out of his pocket, I don't know. Nobody knows. And when he unsnapped, that's when he got the DNA. Whether it's sweat or blood from him, no one knows. They're not saying. After he got done with them, he went downstairs and either they were the targets and Xana was coming out of the kitchen or maybe coming out of the bathroom and she had heard something or seen something and he went after her because she was attacked next. I don't know if she was all the way in her room or if she was just halfway. But the police seen her first, so I don't know where she was at in her room. And then Ethan probably heard the screaming and the commotion going on from Xana. He woke up, attacking him. Xana was already injured and on the ground. So he finished Ethan off and then went back to Xana because Xana was still alive. And Dylan had heard the perpetrator saying, "It's okay, I'm here to help you." And we think that's when he finally took Xana. Now, Dylan, on the other hand, I can't say what was going through her mind at that time. She could have been freaking out. According to the affidavit, she was frozen in shock because the perpetrator walked right by her and the lights were on. Because the LE during the in criminal during the investigation said they did not turn on any lights. They were all the way they were when they got there. So the kitchen light was on, Zaina's room light was on, and so was the living room. So the perpetrator had to have seen her. And if she was frozen in shock, how did she snap out of it so quick to slam her door and lock it after she seen this person leave out the slider? Just baffled. I'm just baffled over that one. So was Dylan involved in it? Did she let him in the slider because everybody's saying that Kaylee locked the door, the slider, after she let Murphy out? They're saying that she always locked the slider. The house was always locked up. This night it wasn't? Really? I mean, they were drinking. Maddie was wasted. We see, if you guys seen that on the grub truck video, she was pretty wasted. She could not stand up straight. She was staggering everywhere. Katie on the other hand, she had it together a little bit more. So, I don't understand. I can't say what I would do in that situation. I really can't, because I've never been in that situation. Was Dylan working with him? Or was she just didn't know exactly what to do? Did she just hide, bunker down, and not want to call the PD because she didn't know what was going on? Did he really leave? Did she come back? Was he going to come back? I mean, she's got a cell phone. I mean, why didn't she pick it up and even text? Hey, 911, I need help. They would have pinpointed it. She wouldn't have had to talk. She couldn't have been too frozen or too much in shock because she shut her door and locked it. I mean, like I said, I don't know what I would have done in that situation. She may not have had anything to do with this. Who knows? But interview room, Chris had said that there was a cinder block, and there is a cinder block underneath Dylan's room window. Did she have him climb through that window and then do what he had to do and then come up with this saying that he left out the back door? And there is a footprint in the hallway that they got. Whether or not linked back to him, we don't know. They just said they collected a footprint. We will find out at the trial if it is his. They collected evidence from his apartment and his office in Washington. So what do you guys think? I think he went after Kaylee and Maddie first, and then Zaina and Ethan. Why did he let Dylan and Bethany live? You guys comment down below. Like I said, the affidavit will be down below. You guys let me know. And I hope you all have a good day. And we'll see you on the next one.